If you're signing your book to a traditional contract, do you also have to give away your rights to the screenplay adaptations for movie and TV adaptations of your novel? Let's talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called the IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, when it comes to working with traditional publishing, a lot of people assume we have to sign all of our rights away in order to get those contracts. But what most people don't know is that your screenplay adaptations might not be the same thing as signing away your novel rights. So, do you have to sign away your movie rights at the same time as your novel? And what are the differences there?
So the answer is going to be a very firm no on that one. No, I'm going to say that quite emphatically there. Um, you have to understand that when you make a book, or let's say even a series that has different iterations of a story or what have you, but whatever form of a book that you make or a series, what you don't realize is that you're making essentially the start of an IP portfolio. You're creating the characters, you're creating the setting, you're creating the narrative. All of that is your IP. And so when you have this concept that's maybe elaborated by way of a manuscript, and you go to a publisher and you pitch the idea for this manuscript or series, whatever you're working on, to be published by this publisher, all you have to do is just ask for this to be published and leave it at that. Oftentimes, publishing agreements will contain certain clauses that include that the publisher then maintains the right to manage or sub-license out the movie rights or television rights or other rights for that book series if it were developed and published. That's fine, but the problem is that the payday that you're going to get is going to probably be chump change compared to what it could be if it did become very popular and it did become something quite profitable. So, I think that it's important to remember that, if let's say you were to just work with a publisher and they ask for these broad rights, it doesn't hurt to just say, at this moment, I want to only license the rights for this to be published in a book and not have the inclusion of movie rights or even theme park rights, which are a very profitable scene as well, especially if you're if the type of book you're writing or the genre of the book would be something that you could see being adapted in some form in a theme park. So these are, you do not need to ask for it right then and there. These are the kinds of things that you can very easily negotiate out of the contract. It's not going to make or break the deal. If anything, you could always have some type of provision that says, maybe there could be an audit, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, after the book has been well into publication, and you could have some type of internal discussion with your publisher to see if they could act as your agent to sell out the movie rights of the book or what have you, or you could just do that independently. But it never hurts to open your mouth. And I think that a lot of people become very intimidated during the negotiation process to do that because they fear that the deal is going to get dead. You know what? If the deal dies, then you were never meant to sign that deal and you could take your business elsewhere. But that's the beauty of the marketplace. You can shop around and you're not bound to one party versus another. So I'm a huge advocate of speaking up and not falling prey to predatory practices that often do exist in the publishing space, where you are signing away these rights without really knowing what you're signing up for.
And I think that's a really good point. If you're fearful of the contract that you're about to sign, like you feel like you have to do something or you're going to lose it, that's probably a sign that you shouldn't be there. And in order to navigate the world of publishing contracts, it's incredibly important to not do it yourself. You should not be going through this, even if you feel like you're qualified to go through contracts. I've read so many of them throughout my career. I am very well versed in it, but I still will not sign things without my entertainment lawyers looking over it and making sure that I am protected in this, because I am not a lawyer. I don't have all the insights that someone like Tony does, even though I've been in this industry for a while. So it's incredibly important to make sure you have a publishing and or entertainment lawyer looking over what you're doing and negotiating with you through the process to make sure that your rights are being protected and you're making the most money in the most effective ways for you. If you have questions about your publishing contracts or fears or frustrations we need to be talking about, now's the time to get in my comments and let me know what you need to discuss. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes, and we want to make sure that you have the power to negotiate what you're doing to be the most profitable you can without the fear of potentially losing contracts that you didn't need anyway. So drop those questions down below, and as always, you can go directly to the source and find Tony online. Tony, where can everybody hang out with you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor, and you can check out my entertainment law podcast, and Scene, an entertainment law podcast. Drops every Friday, brand new episode every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you have questions on the legal side of publishing, drop them now. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes to keep us legally protected inside of the publishing space, and every single day we are helping to drop videos to help you be more profitable this year inside of your publishing business, whether it is marketing on social media, your craft of writing, or getting your novel out in the world. We are answering your questions in real time with a multi-time best-selling author, making sure that we are keeping you the most profitable you can be this year. See you in the next episode.